Here are my two audience members. This is an average plastic bottle. People often buy them to stay hydrated, but what do they do after you're done with said bottle? Some people say they recycle it, but the majority of people just throw it away. The fact is, over the course of a year, only about 12% of water bottles are actually recycled, while the other 44 billion plastic bottles are littered in our streets, end up in natural environments where they will decay for the next 1,000 years, or they will end up in landfills, releasing greenhouse gases and damaging our ozone layer. While plastic bottles are not the only problem, they do make up 18% of all plastic waste, making it a large percentage of the overall problem. Over my life, I've had a deep love for nature and have currently been disgusted by the way that we've been treating Mother Earth. Today, I will be discussing the damage that plastic has done to our wildlife and ourselves, as well as the alternative options we can use instead. To get started, let's discuss the damage plastic has done to the Earth. In 2019, Whitney Crowder, Sea Turtle Rehabilitation Coordinator for Gumbo Limbo Nature Center, posted a picture of a dead baby sea turtle who had consumed 104 pieces of small plastic. She went on to say these little pieces of plastic are just kind of floating, mixed in the seaweed, and by default, they're eating the plastic. Now, this is not an isolated incident, as according to WWF Australia, thousands of these sea turtles are dying every single year from plastic consumption. And not only are animals affected by this, but so are humans. In an article by the Environmental Working Group, humans consume up to 71 grams of microplastics a year from drinking water. Other, other experts estimate it can be up to 250 grams a year. According to a Penn State article, microplastic consumption can lead to increased risk of heart attacks, strokes, inflammation, and blood clotting. Also, the chemicals inside the plastic can cause cancer, immune system damage, reproductive problems, and development delays. And plastic pollution is also releasing large amounts of greenhouse gases, causing damage to our ozone layer. An article from Plastics states when plastic waste is burned in open environments such as landfills and dump sites, it releases harmful pollutants including black carbon, carbon monoxide, and unregulated chemicals. Black carbon particles rise into the upper atmosphere where they disrupt stratospheric temperatures and alter ozone chemistry cycles, especially in polar regions. Now, the U.S. Environmental Protection has found that the ozone layer being damaged has caused more UV radiation to get through our protected layer, causing problems for plant growth, marine life, and increased chance of skin cancer among humans. Now, overall, it is a difficult process to get rid of plastic altogether. Big changes would need to come from our government policies and from within big corporations inside our society. However, this does not mean we can't make smaller changes ourselves. For example, carrying a stainless steel metal water bottle is a good alternative for individuals. I personally have been carrying one for years, and I've seen it reduce my plastic waste each year, as the average American often buys 156 plastic water bottles a year. But when you start using a metal water bottle and carrying it around, that heavily reduces that number. It also is better for our health. According to Biology Insights article, plastic bottles contain certain chemicals that are used to make the plastic hard and flexible for the product. These chemicals can migrate to the material from the material to the water. Drinking this can have very negative effects on our health. Now, companies should also be switching to aluminum bottles. While stainless steel metal bottles are a little bit more expensive, aluminum bottles can fit companies' budgets a bit better. Even a Packaging Dive article explains that in 2023 globally, 75% of aluminum products were recycled. Now, that's compared to the 12% of plastic that was recycled in that year, showing that aluminum is a much more sustainable product for companies to be using instead of plastic. Companies such as Coca-Cola and PepsiCo have already started to make these changes, especially within their water companies that they own. They have started to phase out water bottles and use more aluminum materials within their products. Not only is this better for the environment, but this has allowed companies to have a more eco-friendly image and be more appealing to the consumer, which is also beneficial to their market. In conclusion, plastic has been an increasing threat to the world we live in. It threatens wildlife, our atmosphere, and even our own health, while other materials have been proven to be more sustainable and less detrimental to our environment. So when you need a drink, make the more sustainable choice and don't go for plastic. Thank you. Questions?
What other marine life are affected by microplastics besides sea turtles?
So I would say definitely our coral reefs are a big thing that have been affected. I think not just from plastic, but I think from global warming overall, which plastic uh, dumping, especially in landfills, has heavily contributed to that. We've been seeing coral reefs die out at a historic level. So I believe that's another piece of marine life that is being heavily affected. Um, I believe that even any creature within the sea that's more of a bottom feeder, like such as the sea turtles eating from the seaweed. I think other animals that feed on that same kind of food are more likely to consume plastic. So, because the plastic mixes in with the seaweed, like I mentioned before. So I would say any I guess, plant-eating animal within the sea, such as manatees.
Interesting. Uh, so say companies don't replace their plastic bottles with aluminum or stainless steel. What are some other ways that could help reduce the low amounts of recycling plastic bottles have?
Could you repeat that?
So say that companies don't
Right.
replace the plastic bottles. What can we do to stop the spread of
What can you do to
plastic bottles?
increase plastic bottle recycling rates?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Um, so to increase plastic, I mean, obviously, um, that's a bit of a tougher question. It's hard to recycle plastic. You know, it's hard to be replaceable at a certain point. That's why only 12% of plastic bottles have been recycled. Um, I think overall, you know, obviously we could have more recycling programs within our communities for plastic, but I think that sustainability, you know, plastic obviously becomes more toxic. It becomes misshapen as it um, as it deteriorates a bit. Aluminum has been known to kind of to keep its shape. It doesn't become toxic, you know. So I feel like there isn't really a way to help our plastic problem with keeping plastic. You know, I think our only option is to move on from those products. And I didn't mention this in my speech, but about 99% of plastic products are made by fossil fuels, which is obviously has been a problem coming up, you know, with gasoline, things that we are running short on fossil fuels. We only have a finite amount of materials for that. So I would say that even if companies don't want to switch from plastic, I think that they are eventually going to have to make that change. Thank you.